You don't know what's the biggest mistake that the relocation shoppers and retirees are making in 2026? Right now, they're waiting for that perfect sign from the universe, for the rate drop, for the economic headline, for a news media station to deliver this to them directly. The biggest mistake that they're making is that wait, that perfect sign is actually the biggest trap in 2026, because right now it could cost you that perfect dream home or tens of thousands of dollars in the future. If you watched our original Firelight video from about a year ago, if you haven't, the link is in the description below this video. You probably remember that Firelight was a lot of dirt and big promises. But today, it's really coming together. In this video, we're going to give you a 2026 boots on the ground Firelight SunRiver update. We're going to sit down with Dalan Mattson and discuss some topics that a lot of our viewers are dying to know. We're going to talk to you about the updates to the phase 1 of the community center, activities that you could partake in day 1 if you were to become a resident here right now. We're going to discuss their standing inventory that's available to purchase now. We're going to talk about the design and construction process in 2026, as well as some of the built-in cheat codes that the builder is offering to the buyers in 2026, including options of staying here and test driving this community for 2 whole nights before you commit to anything. But before we dive into the details of what it's going to take to test drive this lifestyle for 2 nights, I'm going to sit down with Dalan Mattson, SunRiver's broker and sales manager for Firelight, to discuss the absolute truth, whether buying right now is smart or if you should wait. Let's go find Dalan. By the way, if you're planning on visiting Southern Utah soon to check out Firelight in person, you probably already know there's a lot to do and a lot to see here, and lots of incredible restaurants that you don't want to miss. Because we want to make the best of your time here in St. George, we created a free St. George relocation guide with all of our favorite spots, accompanied by direct Google links, so navigating St. George is a breeze. Click the link in the description below this video, download your free copy today. You're going to wish you had it for your trip. Dalan, it is so good to see you. I remember a year ago when we met here, we were talking about everything that was about to go vertical. So there was a lot of dirt that was getting moved and there was a lot of blueprints, and now things are actually vertical. So how's phase 1 of the community center and all the amenities coming together?
Well, good to see you again, Nick, and thanks for coming out. So pretty exciting. You have a dream and then you watch the dream come together. So it's fun to see it come out of the ground. And we started building and designing this community center probably at this point 4 years ago. So seeing it actually come to life is exciting. So when we planned it, our original idea was doing it campus style. Okay, so it's not like there's one giant building and we're going to build part of that building and then add on to that building and add on to that building. There's going to be 4 to 5 buildings when this is finished. So what you're looking at initially is what we're calling the clubhouse. And that's going to get us 4 elements inside this clubhouse. The first is a full fitness center. So you'll have all your weightlifting, exercise, treadmills, everything you'll need to do to stay physically fit. Then we'll have another room that's more of your dance classes or your Pilates class or a yoga class, just where we have a nice big open area that's designed with the sound and the flooring and everything to be multi-purpose, but multi-purpose fitness. Then we'll have a really nice big area that you would call kind of like a lounge or a hangout area. So that's where you'd have like your billboard table, you know, some couches and seating areas with some TV, just areas where you can get together with friends and hang out. That's where a lot of people, if you're going to grab a cup of coffee, meet a friend at the community center, that's typically where you would go. And then the fourth and final room inside this will be kind of dedicated to more arts and crafts. So, you know, let's say, for example, we have a wine and paint night. The flooring in there, the lighting, the room will be designed for that kind of activity. Set the mood. Yeah.
And it looks like we're just about dried in right now.
Yeah.
What are you guys thinking in terms of timing? When can people start using it?
You know this from being here, the dozens of years you've lived here. Parade of Homes is a big deal to us. Parade of Homes and then Senior Games. Those are kind of our 2 deadlines throughout the year. So Parade of Homes
starts... Real Estate Olympics.
Yeah, Real Estate Olympics. So the February is the Parade of Homes. And so our goal is to have this first phase all wrapped up by then. So literally we're standing essentially almost in the lap pool. We've got 4 pickleball courts that we'll have initially. And that's not all our pickleball courts, that's just phase 1. And then the community center. So our plan is we'll have a fully functioning lifestyle to take care of up to 300 people very easily with this facility. Then going forward, we're going to add more to it. And there may be an element like a woodworking shop or a pottery studio. Those kind of elements may be new, but most of what we'll do from here after we have kind of our core is just more.
That's awesome.
You know, more pools, more rooms, because we'll have 1,200 homes at some point. So we're talking about 2,000 to 2,400 people. And we just want to make sure we've got enough amenity to keep them all.
And kind of in line with my previous question, what about the folks that are out here right now? What sort of amenities are available to them, and what sort of activities can they start doing now?
Yeah, cool. So when we talked at the first video, the feedback we got from agents was, I don't want to be the first person living there. And I don't want to move in until I have an amenity. So knowing that and anticipating that the first house that moves in, we want to have activities. We have activities ongoing right now.
People want to move here because they want to start socializing right away. A lot of our clients that are moving here, they don't know anybody. So a lot of this is really, really huge for people that are going into the next stage of their life where, you know, everything is new again.
Yeah, they want to be instantly plugged in. I mean, you could pick any community in St. George and you'd like St. George, but how are you going to meet a neighbor? You know, bake them a pie. Right. Where here we try to create these activities and these social environment where you can make friends quickly. So we're already doing hikes. We're already meeting together every Monday morning for pastries. We've had activities at Quail Lake. We're doing side-by-side activities. When we first built the sales center, and hopefully we'll get some footage of it, we committed about a 20 by 20 room, almost at the same size as some of the rooms in the community center, to start activities right away.
On days like today when it's 100 degrees
On days
outside.
today when like it's 100, you want to get together, but you want to be in the air conditioning. So we do have a facility right now that will function for 90% of our gathering space. And right now we've got about 40 people in varying stages that'll be here in the next couple months. So it's starting to hit its critical mass. By the end of this year, we should have upward of 75 people living here. So this, when it's finished, you'll walk in and it'll be vibrant. People will be doing things. It's not going to be a dead space. And we already have our fitness director in place, Diana, and she's doing the activities and making it all happen.
So somebody that's starting a new build right now, by the time their home is finished, they'll be able to just dive right into it.
Yep. And again, because this doesn't have a commercial kitchen and all that in this first phase, this should go pretty quickly. You know, parking lot, they're going to start curbing next week. I mean, in the next 4 months, this is going to look like something.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
From where we see it from, and some of the biggest pains that relocation buyers are sharing with us is timing. So put your house on the market in Bay Area, maybe in Seattle, wherever else people are coming from, then your house sells. And there's a period of time where for the first time in like 50 years, you feel homeless. You don't own any real estate. And they're trying to time it, you know, do they rent while they buy? I wanted to ask you about your move-in ready program, but also as you tell us about it, what about your rent while you build program? Because to me, that just seems like a cheat code.
Yeah, it's definitely a cheat code. And it's something that, you know, doing this for 20 years, we've experienced what you're talking about a lot. And if it's too difficult, people just won't do anything. And they postpone making the decision. So we typically have, we try to have 2 of every floor plan available as a quick move-in home. So we're constantly starting homes. We'll sell one, we'll build another one. So typically if you say, Nick, I just sold my house, I don't have anywhere to go. If you came to SunRiver Firelight, you would have 7, 8 options. If they're not done, they'll be done in a month. And we frequently do that with people. Also, one thing that's a nice option is we'll do it contingent upon your home selling, which then people have a home picked out with us. They go sell their home in the Bay Area. We know it's gonna sell in a week. And we've kind of got the end finished before the start. Also, in conjunction with that, one of the things that we've realized is we have homes on site that are brand new homes that people can rent. So you don't want to sell your home, have to find a rental in St. George, move into that rental, move again, move out here. It's just too much work for people. So we have homes, some that are furnished, so you can just put your inventory of your house in storage, or pods are a great way to store it. Just put it in, they move it into air conditioning, it's fine, it's not touched until you come. And you can rent and stay in those homes while your home's being built. The crazy program we're doing right now, and this video could, you know, live on 10, 20 years. I don't know that we'll always do this, but you're paying $2,500 a month rent turnkey for everything, we'll apply $1,000 of that rent up to 6 months towards the purchase price of your home.
Wow.
So essentially, you're paying $2,500 a month, but $1,000 of that is going towards your purchase cost, which that's one of the frustrating things for seniors. I have enough money to pay cash, why am I paying rent? So we've kind of checked those boxes, and again, we're flexible. Every situation is different. The key is SunRiver's done this before. We can help you with that process and make it easy.
That's incredible. I have a couple clients in exactly that position, and as they start to go through their analysis, they mention exactly that. They're like, I have not paid rent for as long as I could remember, and now all of a sudden I don't have a house, I have to pay rent, and I'm dumping all that money into a new build. So it solves that. But also, while they don't typically recommend seeing your bride before the wedding, it is kind of cool to be able to rent in that same very neighborhood, 2 blocks away from where you're building your beautiful home, and then you could see it through all the stages. I think there's a lot to be said about that.
And we're not afraid of that. I mean, our customers are retired. They're very hands-on. It's fine. Come be involved. We always want to have somebody with you when you go on site, but we love to show off the quality we do. So, but yeah, typically if a person never sees their home till it's finished, it's a better experience, but come on, that's not realistic. You're excited, you want to see it, you want to be involved in the process. So.
And for the record, I have never had a bad experience visiting any of the job sites around any of the SunRiver Developments projects. I feel like they're usually pretty clean. And as an agent, sometimes I'm reluctant from taking people to job sites because they might see, stuff half finished. But out here, it seems like every step of the way, you see the quality.
Yeah, thank you.
No, I mentioned early on in the intro of this video that a lot of people are still sitting on the fence. I know it's August, middle of August in southern Utah, but maybe somebody is watching that video, they're sitting there out in cold climate, and they're just on the fence about what it's like to be here. Or maybe, maybe it's not cold there and they're still actually on the fence because of August. So in August in southern Utah could be a controversial topic. We once did this poll and we asked people, what are the 3 things that you regret about moving to southern Utah? And you would be amazed how many people said it's June, July, and August.
All 3 months. Huh?
All 3 months, like the 3 things we regret. Now, individual experiences may vary, but this is where I think this comes in really handy. So how does your 2-night discovery stay work here in this community?
Well, we wish we invented that. We didn't invent that. It's pretty standard throughout the active adult industry that you can go to a lot of different communities and you actually stay on site. So again, it's check out the community before you buy. We have a nice 1,500 square foot home, 2 bedrooms with a den. It's actually one of the floor plans we build. It's our most popular selling floor plan. You've got a couple of customers that are interested in it, the Hamlet. So you can stay 2 nights. It's $399. The great thing is if you buy a house, it's free. So if you want to spend $500,000, you can stay 2 nights, but I'm joking, of course. but the idea is come try it out and see if you actually like it. And surprisingly, we have a lot of people, and from a rental perspective, we have a lot of people that will want to rent the 3 hottest months of the year. Because it's beautiful the other 9 months, but we say it's a dry heat. Well, what does that mean? Well, come experience it. It's definitely 100 degrees here versus Texas. There's a difference.
Yeah. And we've seen exactly that these last couple of years. I would say last 3 or 4 years, usually summertime is kind of a slower season historically in real estate, but a lot of our clients come here and then they fall in love with the area where the temps don't really bother them. Now, kind of leading into my next question is what happens when they do fall in love during that rental period? What does the construction process look like? Do they still have some creative freedom with their selections?
Yeah, you bet.
Could they get in trouble with upgrades? So what does the timing look like?
So that's one of the things that sets SunRiver apart. And yes, you can get in trouble with upgrades with anything. And that's why you have to kind of work with our designers and work within a budget, and they can help you get the home you're looking for within the price range you're looking for. Our designers, between the 2 of them, have built over 2,600 homes, 30 plus parade homes. These are very highly skilled designers. They've designed the homes that we're sitting in. But the great thing about SunRiver is, and we'll have to get some footage in the design center because it's a fully functioning design studio. We don't say, here's 3 tiles, here's 2 hardwood, put it together any way you want. If you can see it on Pinterest, we can do it. So the design process, we don't move walls, we don't move windows or doors, but anything interior, like your cabinets are built locally. Ideal Woodworking, fabulous, I'd say, if not the best, one of the best cabinet makers in all of Southern Utah. So we're not going with a production cabinet company. This is a very good cabinet company. They'll design that from scratch with you. So the process takes about 5 months once we start building your home, but it usually takes 2 or 3 weeks to kind of work with the designers, get everything picked out and going. So if you plan on about 6 months, you put anywhere between 10 or 20% down. We finance the whole home. We've got a product, kind of a program going right now that's been super popular with cash buyers, that if they finance the home, we pay them 8% interest on their money while it's invested in the home. So we have people that have built $900,000 houses that save $35,000 by paying for it up front and them becoming the construction loan.
They become the bank.
Yeah, and maybe they're making 4% in their high yield savings account, but now they're making 8. So people that are paying cash really like that because it's just, again, less money they have to put into it. But the process is very methodical. We've done it thousands of times. About half of our people build, about half of our people buy existing homes that are already done. So it's a good mix, but yeah, we kind of cover both bases.
So it's easy to fall in love, and once you fall in love, the process is easy.
Super easy, yeah.
That sounded a little cheesy.
Yeah, that's all right.
Dalan, I feel like 2026 is the year of educated consumer. People have never had this amount of time and this amount of inventory. Crunch their numbers, look at the pros and cons, look at cash versus financing, look at SunRiver Classic versus Firelight. If you were to compare the two communities in terms of like some of the existing sales that you see in SunRiver Classic versus the stuff that people could get in Firelight with the current incentives, how does that value compare?
Well, it's interesting because not everybody understands the incentives and the things we're able to do. So I try to be really careful in what I put on the MLS because our base price is $489. Some people are putting $100,000 in upgrades, going crazy. So they see a 1,500 square foot home sell for $600,000 and they're like, wow, that's not really, your price isn't really $489. So first of all, $489, it's a beautiful home, you could move right into it. So when you compare to SunRiver Classic, we really created our worst competition because SunRiver Classic's awesome. We built it. It's in St. George, they got a new In-N-Out, they got all these commercial around them. The biggest difference is you're going to buy someone else's home. Someone else designed that home. Someone else picked the colors.
By now remodeled it too.
Yeah, a lot of the homes that are 20 years old
Right.
have now been remodeled once,
Right.
and then you're going to come in for the third remodel. So I would say the biggest difference is if you have a little bit of vision, because everybody says, I want to move somewhere that's already established. And I would do a little caution with established, because established means everybody's already there. Everybody's comfortable. Everybody already has friends.
No new friends.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get into the establishment. We've created something out here, the Founders Club, and we did it at our first community too. And the first 74 people that buy in Firelight are part of our founders. And they get some extra incentives. We're paying the HOA for the first 2 years after they close, so that's a $5,000 incentive. And the reason we're doing that is we want these founders to come help shape our community. So if you've got some vision and you want to come help design and help us build this amazing community, we'd love to have you come. But that's the big difference is at SunRiver Classic, the prices are sixes. With the current incentives on a per square foot basis, the big difference is a lot of times you're gonna pick up a 3-car garage out here. Sometimes you're gonna pick up a 4-car garage. We have design credits right now as far as incentives, $10,000 in credits for designs, where if you buy a move-in ready home, you get almost a $5,000 washer and dryer, and you can use that as a credit for something else if you want to. So when you package all the incentives, I mean, you're upwards of $20,000 in incentives. So when you look at that compared to SunRiver, unless you really want to be in the hustle bustle of St. George, there's no economic reason to not be out here because the prices are comparable, and it's a brand new home. It's more energy efficient, it's got better windows, it's a brand new home that you're starting the next 30 years of your life with, so you won't have any worries.
And it's your very own. You literally get to be a part of that creation.
Which that's fun. I mean, a lot of people will build, we've sold, and you've done it too, we've sold people their final house 3 or 4 times.
Right.
Because it's fun. You build it, you love it, it's 5 years, you're like, I wish I'd have done this, I wish I'd have done that. Oh, that view lot's available now. There's always a really healthy market inside SunRiver.
But this is a small percentage of our clients that say, I don't want to deal with it. I want to let the professionals decide on my finishes, and I feel you guys do a great job there too.
Yeah.
So there's an option for that too.
Absolutely. What a lot of people will do, and because we have 5 model homes, these are like showrooms. So people will come in and they'll say, I really like this hood, but I want it out of wood. What is this range? And then they'll go to the next house and they're like, I like the countertops there. So we're kind of create this environment where you can kind of dream it just by walking through our models and duplicate aspects of it. So it's super easy.
And I know that a lot of people have got to find it incredibly difficult by now to still be on the fence after watching this video, but they're still out there. So $1 million question, is it smart to buy a home in 2026 or should you wait for that perfect moment to come?
Well, and I always think of Warren Buffett as the king of being smart. And I love his saying that always buy straw hats in the winter. That now you're going to get some deals. Now you're going to get some incentives. The market is not bad, and because it's not a bad time to sell your home. We're not desperate to sell homes, but we have some incentives and we have some advantages. The lots now are a little bigger than they're going to be in the future. So you're going to get a lot more for your money now. Well, people say, well, let's wait till rates are better. Well, then there's going to be more competition. I mean, we can only build so many houses a month. So when we're at capacity, we're not going to be as accommodating. So there's definitely an advantage as far as selections, lot selection, flexibility, pricing. It's a really good time. Yeah, rates might be a little higher now, but you and I know that's not forever. It's the old saying, you date the rate and marry the house. It will change.
It's all subject to change. Well, and I think everything that you just said, it kind of rhymes perfectly with another, one of my favorite Buffett quotes is be greedy while others are fearful and fearful while others are greedy.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a decent amount of people on the sidelines. They're kind of not sure of the future, but I feel like a lot of these things are based on what we already know. And while we don't hold the crystal ball and we don't know what the future holds, we could always look at history. And here in Southern Utah, about 400 homes sell every single year. If we look back from 2001 to 2026, there are about 400 homes that are selling. So a month. Yes, correct. Correct. A month. That's an important detail. So about 400 homes sell every single month, no matter if it's sunny or if it's raining, if the economy is up or down, what the price of oil is. It happens regardless because it is a beautiful place to live and people want to be here.
And you made a comment when we were talking off camera about it's like starting on a journey waiting for every light to turn green. I really like that. You'll never start. Right. You just go to the next step. And sadly, as humans, we like to do things when everybody's doing it. So when our buddy's buying a house, we should buy a house. And then we get this herd mentality, and sometimes we buy at the wrong time. But when you look back since 1975 in 10-year periods, the least growth you had in a 10-year period was 56%. Inflation is real. It's not going away. No. There's never a bad time to own a home. If you wait and delay 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, that's part of your retirement that's gone now. You're in something that you're not liking, that you're settling for, waiting, and then you're going to pay 5, 10, 15, 20% more. That's just history. That's just inflation. So
cost of opportunity.
There's a cost. Yeah. So, and again, also your health. And, if you're 70 now, I'll tell you when you're not going to want to move less than now, and that's when you're 80. So we get in this scenario where we just are trapped because of health or just things seem overwhelming. And that's why if they get with a relocation specialist like you can make it easy. And we do it enough, we can help.
It's never a bad time to start living.
Yeah, amen.
I want to thank Dalan for sitting down with us. And look, a lot of our clients start their relocation journey completely remote. They're sitting down hundreds of miles away, looking at Zillow, and honestly, they're flying completely blind because they're new to St. George. The information you find online isn't always accurate and is definitely limited. Having boots on the ground experience could literally mean saving thousands on your relocation journey versus making a costly mistake. But let's take a second to define experience. Everybody has an uncle or a friend that's been selling real estate for over 30 years, but only those of us that sell real estate at high level know that Uncle Joe's been closing 2 transactions a year for the last 30 years. Michonne and I perform in the top 2% of all agents here in Washington County. We do this all all day, every day. And sure, you may always find an agent that is willing to discount their services. There's always a reason why they're willing to do it for less. If you're thinking about retiring in Southern Utah, or perhaps Firelight is on your radar, call us, text us, or email us, and let's come up with a plan that suits your budget and your dreams. Let's match you with the perfect home and a neighborhood. All of our contact information is in the description below this video. Don't forget to download our free St. George relocation guide, and we will see you in Southern Utah soon.